Hey there, makers. Today I'm going to run through my laser cut spaceship phone holder build process. Hope you all enjoyed, and let's just jump right into it. So up here on the screen, I've got my kind of final assembly that I designed up in SolidWorks. I modeled it with my 3mm plywood that would be like the final cutting material. So see, I've got kind of traditional like L-shaped sort of holder for the phone, like a backside, that's the spaceship itself, and then the bottom section here, which is going to slide through a couple slots that were cut, and this is going to actually hold the bottom of the phone. The phone just kind of rests up here, up against it. So let's just pop open a couple of the parts and take a look at them. So here in my spaceship, the actual spaceship itself. What I did was basically modeled it. I mean, after a spaceship, it's got a pretty standard shape, just one edge here. I drew out, and then I actually uh, mirrored it over this axis of symmetry here, through the center axis of it, and mirrored it over it to get, the shape that you see here. Making sure that it indeed would be symmetrical on both sides. Obviously, you don't want an asymmetric spaceship. That wouldn't be very helpful. So this is kind of the quick process that I ran through for the spaceship. And then obviously I cut out a slot for it. That would be the size of the bottom holder. In order to come up with like all these dimensions and everything, I essentially just measured my phone and just gave myself a little bit of a buffer, a couple millimeters on either side, just to make sure the phone would indeed fit on that holder. So you also see I have the second sketch here, sketch 2, that I've got highlighted. And this is actually going to be the engraving lines for the spaceship. So like up here on the nose, this will be all black. This is going to be like a little engraving line, and then kind of like heat shield again right here, and then the heat shields down the sides, and then engraving lines right here for like the spaceship boosters. So just to give it that little extra detail when I do indeed go and cut it. So let's hop over to the boosters. So again, similar process that you'll see I use for the boosters. So this has actually got two portions that I mirrored. So I essentially drew out this section here, cut out a little bit of spots that the side boosters would connect up to the main booster in the center, and then I did that same sort of axis of symmetry trick where I drew up this section here and then mirrored it over this line to get this side booster, and then again I mirrored the wing edge as well, so that would give me something that I can hook up to the front part, and it helps keep the assembly together. It keeps it structurally sound when you put the phone up against the 3mm thick wood. And again, same slot. I put the slot in the same area as the first piece, using the bottom edge here as kind of like a guide when I drew it. As I said before, mirroring stuff over this axis first and then over this axis again to get, again, a symmetrical design. And I also had the boosters come out underneath the spaceship, and that gives another third resting point for the spaceship, which is helpful, or for the phone holder itself, which is helpful. You'll see that right here. So I got like a spot that touches on the ground here, here, and here. And then the third part here, we've got like the base. So I mean, this was just pretty much a standard square, rounded off the edges, and then I also added in this little portion right there that will grab the actual back side of the back of the holder. So you'll see that back here, if I can get a good spot. Yeah, so right here. So this is essentially lets the two backs slide right up onto the bottom part and then hit that buffer right there, which gives you the correct thickness that I wanted for the foam to sit there, so that the pieces all lock in, we're not going anywhere, and nice and sturdy for the foam. So once I got this modeled up in SolidWorks, I saved up all the surfaces here and transferred them over into LightBurn to get them ready for laser cutting. And if you want to check out how I did that, I've got a link in the description to kind of a blog post that helps do that pretty quickly and efficiently. So check that out if you want to. And if you guys like this design, you know, just like this video, subscribe, and hopefully be doing a lot more of these. So just yeah, every little bit helps. So thanks. Let's hop over into LightBurn and check out that. Alright, so here we are in LightBurn. You can see I've imported in my spaceship and kind of got it all ready for cutting. So anytime I do 3D models, I'll usually model it up in SolidWorks and then import it into LightBurn here, which is my software that runs my laser cutter. Tells it all the power, the speed, basically how to cut the wood. So I've got my 3 parts here. I did have to do a little bit of processing in here, so I have to give out the cut layer information. So you'll notice I've got 3 different colors. So I've got, you know, my black, red, and green. That corresponds to the cut layers up here. So cut 0 is my black layer. That's my actual outer edge cut. That'll cut all the way through the wood. I've got my layer 2, which is my fill. So that's this red portion here. So the laser will actually run through this all the way up the side of the part to darken that in with a burn edge, and really darkens and gives it, you know, that extra little cool sort of difference between the natural wood and burnt edge. And then third layer is just another line engraving. So just again, more detailing work for the spaceship and the boosters. I did need to add some tabs because I cut on an elevated surface. So you'll see here I put in kind of tabs for the wood to be connected up to the stock material so that I can pop it out when I'm ready to go and it just doesn't fall out away from the piece. And then I had to for the fill lines. So LightBurn works by, you know, it needs to see an enclosed shape in order to fill it in. So you'll notice I added in these little lines everywhere where I'm filling things in to make sure that the laser does indeed fill in correctly the portions that need to be filled in along the edge of the shapes there. So that's kind of all of the processing I did in LightBurn itself. And if we pop open a preview here, we can kind of see what the final product will look like. I've got my movements on, so I'll pop those off. But this is essentially what we're gonna get. Once we run it through, we'll see it takes about 15 minutes with my laser, and I don't know, let's just pop over and cut it and see what we got. Getting ready to cut our piece now, and always gotta frame up the area of where you're gonna cut. We got a nice new piece of wood, so not too much of an issue, but like to keep it all the way up into the side so that we don't waste any material. It was a 15-minute long cut, so we're going to speed it up just to get through this cut a little bit quicker so we're not all sitting here for 15 minutes. So first off, it's going to cut through layer 0, which was our outer edge cut, and the inner portions that cut all the way through the wood. And as you can see, the pieces are still sticking to the material because I added in those tabs, so it'll let me go through after it's done cutting and pop it out controlled and not fall away from the material when I don't want it to. And once it's finished with that layer 0, it's on to layer 2, which is the fill layer. And so you can kind of see it burning in now the heat shield for the spaceship, which I really like it. It gives it like that extra layer of detailing that makes the part really come together. And once it's done with the fill layer, it'll head on over to that final layer, which was that green layer in LightBurn. It's the final engraving layer that they're just lines, so it'll complete that step real quickly, and that'll just be the final detailing for the part. Whenever it's done cutting, I'll pop it out, and then I'll do some final sanding to it because you'll notice some of that orange brownish on the piece to the left there, that booster. So sanding just helps clean it up a little bit and gives it a nice final sort of polished look. And right up here, we see the laser starting to do over the fill lines on the booster, and now we got the heat shield in, and it really, looks like a spaceship now. And there we go. We got our final parts all cut out and ready to be put together. We got a spaceship. So that first part here, it's giving me a little bit of an issue to get on, but once we get that slid on, we got the second part coming in right behind it, and we got our spaceship phone holder ready to go, ready to hold some phones. A couple more shots of the finished project, but thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, give it a like and subscribe for more of these projects. If you own a laser cutter yourself or you'd enjoy more content, there's a link to the blog post on lasercuthub.com in the description with more info and the free project files for download. Otherwise, thanks for stopping by.